every time someone I just met is about to introduce themselves. Mostly because sometimes there is so much going on in their name, like so many sounds that I don't even know how to make with my mouth. Like, where do I put my tongue? Well, and I'd go, oh, sorry, can you repeat that? Or in this case, I'll just pretend I got it and, well, embarrass myself. I'll try to guess how to pronounce it and embarrass myself. Do you know what I mean? But what I want to say is that I'm so sorry, Liepa, for calling you Lauren. Like, there are no excuses. I don't know why I called you Lauren. Like, I saw your face and I thought, oh, that's a Lauren's face. Not that there is something wrong with your face. You have a beautiful Liepa face. I could immediately tell that I messed it up. Like I could see it in your eyes, the disappointment, the sadness, the hurt of me butchering your beautiful name. I could see it and I felt so bad. Because I know what it feels like to have your name mispronounced. Every time someone does it to me, I get so fucking angry. Like, Mark, or Morco, Maurice. Where the fuck did Maurice came from, right? I am Mario. I love my name. Especially when someone who is Italian pronounces it correctly. It reminds me of home and my parents. Did you know they call me Mario because my grandmother was called Maria? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Every single Italian on earth has a grandmother called Maria. Well, you're right. I got two. Never got to meet her. I mean, the Maria my name is inspired by. I met the other one. She's lovely. Oh. I love my granny. Probably your name too, as a story that I'm not aware of. Maybe it means rose in Latvian. And maybe when you were delivered, you were red as a rose. Or holding a rose. And your mother was like, let's call her Liepa, which in Latvian means rose. I don't know. Maybe your grandmother was called Liepa? I want to apologize to your grandmother too then. I feel like I've insulted her, you, your country by mispronouncing your name. I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I don't want to mispronounce someone's name and have their grandmother turning in her grave. Poor granny, right? Oh man, she doesn't deserve that. But you don't deserve that. Okay. I want to celebrate your name, culture, language, and grandmother. Tell me everything. Why are you called Liepa? Is it a common name in Latvian? What does it mean? Tell me. What? Oh, you're not from Latvia. Lithuania. What? Liepa is not your name. Oh, hey, Lottie! Hey!
Okay, let's start. Step 1. 3 cups of flour from the flour jar. Have you ever been cold a jar? Never? Well, I have, multiple times, and no, it's not because of my body shape or the fact that I tend to jar up my emotions and then get really annoyed when it's just so hard to open myself up. But don't worry though, I don't bang my head on the floor like I would do with a lid of a jar to force it open. Anyway, I'm a jar because I left home when I was 16. I left the land of disco polo, grape soups, pierogi, the dumplings, the sea, the lake, the mountains, aka Poland. And I arrived in the land of beans on toast, beans on potatoes, and, drum roll, beans on beans. The UK. When somebody is a jar, or as I'd say, a swoik, they tend to leave a small town and come to a big city in pursuit of work or education. They also bring a lot, and I mean a lot, of jars filled with mom and grandma made food. And I did too. I do too. But my food also gets to fly more than 1,600 kilometers in the air, so it feels like I'm trying to be an astronaut. Who needs clothes in their suitcase when they can have a taste at home, right? Step 2. 1 spoon of butter or oil. Masło. Olej. Olej. Masło. Olej, masło. No, we don't want that. See, this is where all the fancies of the Polish language come in. And side note, Polish is the 2nd most spoken language in the UK. So treat this as your free language masterclass. You gotta pay attention though, because it gets confusing. Right away. Masło. Olej. But olej also comes from the verb olać or olewać, which means to ghost or ignore something or someone. So when you olej masło, you basically scrub the butter and you're left with nothing. Dangerous territory, right? Speaking Polish is a good party trick though. A little chrząszcz przy trzcinie or stół z powyłamywanymi nogami goes a long way. It's even more fun when people seem to be very impressed that you do actually have your own language, that you grew up speaking your whole life, and that you use it perfectly. Shocker. I get it though. It's exotic. And living abroad is great, don't get me wrong. But take this with a pinch of salt. It's also really hard. But luckily, step 3 wasn't. And you're gonna need and be needed by life itself. But you gotta adapt and be versatile. Just like a MacBook box. Did you know that the box is exactly the size of the best apple pie in the whole entire world? That's made by my neighbors every time I go back home. Therefore, I think that Apple missed the box's true purpose to be the carrier of that pie, better known as the szarlotka, that gets to fly from Poland to the UK in the air. I also think that Apple's Apple logo was designed for this purpose, and that Polish people were the ones to bite in that. Oh, on the topic of apples, did I mention I'm allergic to them? All while my hometown was crowned the largest apple orchard of Europe. Let's move on, shall we? Step 4, have a glass of warm water, add it slowly. Hydration is key. Do you know the feeling of relief when you drink water when you're really, really thirsty? It's how I feel about eating home food. But do you know the opposite of that? A feeling that crushes my soul pretty bad? It's when I offer somebody a pierogi, a singular dumpling, and they don't like it. Not that it happens often because they're that good, but you know, it hurts. It hurts more than when you offer somebody your food, they respond with a nonchalant, nah, I'm good, and they still eat it. Awful, right? And I'm not overprotective about pierogi. I take it back, I am. I do have a good reason though, because in between all the changes in life, I can always be sure that I'll find frozen pierogi in my freezer. Breakfast? Sorted. Lunch? Sorted. Dinner? Sorted. Midnight snack? Sorted. Who needs alcohol or an energy drink when you can have a trusty pierog? A taste of rebirth. Okay. All done. Now your turn. Surprised? Well, this wasn't just a language class. It was also a cooking masterclass, straight from the recipe of Grandma Poshnik. If you listened carefully, you now know how to make a delicious dough for a Polish pierogi. Congratulations. If not, well, then you're fucked.
The weird thing about being Irish in London is that you kind of become the Irish guy. It becomes your main identifier. Like, you know Ryan, he's Irish. The problem with that is that then you go back home and everyone there is Irish. So what are you then? Just Ryan? I hate it when people bring up the accent as well. Everything you say in your accent makes it sound so funny. Right, okay, thanks, but I'm also just, you know, funny. It's worse on dates as well. Like when you're on a first date and she sat there opposite you going on and on about how much she loves your accent. And it's usually meant as a compliment. I get that, I do. It's just, the more she likes it, the more uncomfortable it makes me. Because like, what if this goes really, really well? Yeah? And one day I want to bring this girl back home with me, back to Ireland. And then she's going to realise there's 2.5 million other lads there, also with Irish accents. And some of them are taller than me too. So I've started telling people I'm from India, which also doesn't really seem to work that well. Especially that time I went on a date with an Indian girl. She saw through that pretty much immediately. Every date feels like an away game. I should probably just date an Irish girl. People understand me, but I'm not really in the right country for that, am I? I mean, none of us are. It just feels like the industry isn't really there at home. You know, all the jobs are here, so we all come over. And then, what's left in Ireland? Everyone says they come over just to work and that one day they're going to move back home to settle down. But what happens then, you know? What happens then when you go back home and there's absolutely no infrastructure because all the young people left 15 years ago? in love with a London girl, you know? And end up trapped here forever as the Irish guy.
The end of the world used to be just outside my village. You could see it. The end of the world, you could look at it. You could walk up the hill and look at the end of the world. From the outside, it looked like a forest, really. There was a little brook too, and a bridge over it. Hey, don't go over there! Must never go over there. You must never cross it. It's dangerous, you see. It's the end of the world. I mean, it's a different dimension. It's the abyss. It's the place where the ships go when they fall down the horizon. You could feel its magnetic pulse when you approach the end of our road. Who knows what monsters live over there with their heads and scales and suckers and tentacles and teeth. It had always been like that. We were used to it. The end of the world had always just been down the road. We were used to it. There were rumors, of course, of a time of before, when the end of the world hadn't been there. But nobody remembers that. I only know one person who ever dared to cross that bridge at the end of our road. My papa, when he was young, with American dollars stuffed down his underpants. And then one day, 1st of May, Labor Day, he packed us all in the car, and we drove down the road and onto the hill and across the bridge and into the forest. It was only a forest. And everyone in my village was out, and everyone was crossing the bridge, and there were people from the other side crossing onto our side, and everyone was cheering and waving, and we were driving for 20 minutes through the forest that was only a forest, and we came to a village just like ours. And then, on the 1st of May, Labor Day, we sat in the sun outside a cafe, and I got to have hot chocolate with cream. And then we drove back home, 20 minutes through the forest that was only a forest, and across the bridge that was just a bridge. And my mama had tears in her eyes. I went there the other day. I jumped across the brook, strolled up through the forest, and then my phone beeped and let me know I had just crossed the state border, and now I had free EU data roaming. My mama, she doesn't go there. She forgets it's possible. And when she does, she doesn't jump, she walks across the bridge. She acknowledges what she is doing. She never thought that within her lifetime she would ever set foot onto the other side of that little brook at the end of our garden. So when she does that, she treads lightly, like she approaches a shy animal, like everything around her is soft and new, like the forest is made of glass and blotting paper, and any sudden movement, any harsh noise, it could burst into into a million glittering pieces, and like any moment she could wake up from that dream. So when I mix Czech and German like her grandmother had done in another lifetime, or when my teacher from summer camp from the other side, from just Jewice, calls her to tell her that my friends and I, so we had stolen a bottle of vodka and took a raft down the Voltura River, and they told her I really need more discipline at home. Then she needs to take a moment to just marvel at the banality of that. And then she quickly goes to the window and she looks outside and she double checks that the end of the world really isn't there anymore. There is no abyss, there are no tentacles, no fallen ships, no guns, no dogs, no watchtowers, no barbed wire. It's just the forest at the end of our road, and the soft summer air, and a little brook that you can jump across whenever you want to.
Spit in the river, and I watched my phlegm swirl away down the street. I piss in the river. Ditto. It swirls. If I drowned myself in this river, it would swirl me away too. Out to sea, and then on and on, till my body stuck on some grey rock somewhere. And the gulls would come and have a look at my body, and maybe an exploratory peck or two, and then they'd come to their seagull-y senses and flap on somewhere to eat fish or kelp or whatever the fuck birds eat. And the sun, it would beat down on my body, and it would tan my hide, and before you know it, the rock would have a nice leather jacket. It's cold at sea. Cold, cold, colder than any cold you've ever known. So the rock would be happy, and my little leathery face would scrunch up with joy and having contributed something for once in my miserable $7 night. And maybe some poor sailor would come and crash into the rock, and when he found my body, it would really freak him out. But he'd soon get his shit together when he realized he had free saltwater jerky to snack on for the next few weeks. And when someone finally did come along and rescue him from the rock, he wouldn't want to make it known he'd been snacking on me, so he'd keep it stum. But maybe the Cheerios and caviar that they serve on the new boat don't quite hit like human flesh. So after a while, he's thinking, I hope that didn't change me. And after a little while longer, he can't resist himself anymore. So launches himself overboard. Too fucking moral to tuck into the bosun. And maybe the same generous current that gave me some purpose for once decides, hey, what the hell? He might be a cannibal, but why not cut the guy some slack? So it deposits him on some strange land on the other side of the world, full of strange people with strange words and strange customs on how to hold a knife and fork. And they're really not so bad once you get to know them. If you can look past their passive-aggressive disposition and the way they pronounce certain words slightly differently to you. And the sailor parlays his newfound culinary skills into a good job in reality TV. Eating death row convicts is part of the ITV smash hit Last Meal. But at the end of series 2, he starts developing feelings for one of the convicts. So he and Michael, the tax evader Jones Smythe, escape to London together. He's called Michael the tax evader, but he's really more of a double homicide. The ITV dogs catch up with the sailor and Michael, the tax evader Jones Smythe, and they rip them apart, piece by piece, limb from limb, till it looks like someone has dumped a finest Italian bolognese outside the ITV offices. And although this is a tragic end for the sailor, you must admit it is fantastic primetime television. Well, now the suits have a problem. They can't top that. The sailor was a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, the kind of dynamo talent that flits through a TV producer's most private dreams. Gone in a records-boosting bang. And they can't top that trick. Joey Essex won't be up for it, will he? They can barely convince him to taste human flesh. So they decide, we'll cash in. We'll make a 5-part documentary series exploring the sailor's humble origins. So they send a TV crew, a B-list comedian, his mum, on a journey around the world. They visit the Rock. They visit the sea captain who rescued the sailor. They even trace my DNA and piss back to this very river. But despite all the forensic evidence, and despite all the expert opinion, and despite a decent-sized budget for daytime TV, they find fuck all. They never learn where the sailor came from. They never learn his name, or where he found his gift, his love of human flesh. And the river keeps swirling and swirling.
To whom it may concern, I have been helping my Turkish boyfriend revise for his Life in the UK test. I'm writing to make an official complaint about how utterly ridiculous that test is. I'm a well-educated, socially engaged person who's lived in the UK for his whole life, and I don't know the answers to most of these questions, right? Okay, so one question is, which cousin of his second wife did Henry VIII marry? I don't know the answer to that. For some reason, as part of being a British student educated here, you get the rhyme drilled into you, and you can say it with me now. Divorce, beheaded, die, divorce, beheaded, survive, right? That does not help me answer that question, nor does it help me in my day-to-day life. Do you know what I mean? I think if you really want someone to show that they understand the Tudors, you should just get them to show like an expense receipt from going to see Six the Musical. That's where I know most of my historical knowledge at this point anyway. Do you know? Okay, so other questions. There's one which is, when did Kingsley Amos write Lucky Jim? Who's Kingsley Amos and what's a Lucky Jim? That means nothing to me. I googled it, and apparently he's the son of like the Coleman's mustard guy, like the Mr. Coleman's, like Miss Mustard, Coleman, like that guy. Coleman's mustard, like sponsor the Life in the UK test. Like no one knows what the guy is. I think what's more gutting than any of this is maybe what even counts as life in the UK. Like there's one question which says, which part of the country would you find someone with a Cockney accent? Like, they're trying to say London, but I think maybe it's like the 1920s. or like if an American on TV is trying to do a British accent. How is that going to help an immigrant who's come to the UK? You know, he's not going to come up to some like xenophobic twat who's like, get out of my country, governor. You can't be like, oh, I'm noticing a Cockney accent from London, are we? And then they're like, you consider yourself, welcome you in with open eyes, it's not helpful. Another thing, one is about April Fools. How embarrassing that our British culture is April Fools. Like, my Turkish boyfriend talks to me about Sheker Bayrami, where they make sweet treats and share it with their family. In Japan, they go see the cherry blossom in spring with their loved ones. There's things like Diwali, and we have April Fools. Like Ant and Dec pretended they were retiring to become chefs. That is like a real thing that happened, that was in the news. That's part of our culture. I was just happy for Ant and Dec at that point. Like, it's not even funny. If you're going to make April Fools like a proper thing, you have to make funny jokes with it at least. It's ridiculous. Anyway, another offer. Maybe we do things that's really important about British culture, like maybe going to quite dizzying lows at this point, but like, what culinary controversy divided our generation? Yeah, the Greggs vegan sausage roll. That was a big moment for us. What do you do as a Brit if you're in a restaurant and they bring you the full wrong meal? Yeah? Yeah, you eat it and you hate it, and then when they collect it, you say thank you so much, it was amazing. That is British culture. Okay, look, seriously though, like, British history is fucked up, right? There's not a lot to be proud of there. What I am maybe proud of about being British is that it's multicultural, particularly in London. So, like, as a very small example, think about food, right? If I'm going on Deliveroo, I'm searching by Korean, I'm searching Thai, I'm not searching British because I don't want a hard pie or, like, fish and chips that's so oily I have to lie down for a bit. I actually Googled that as well because I couldn't think of more British food, and it came up with chicken tikka masala. So, look, I think we should also change things to maybe incorporate a few more things about immigrants in the UK, right? So, offer of... Who is the Zanzibar-born incredible lead singer of Queen? Anyone? Freddie Mercury, thank you so much, Freddie Mercury. Who is the award-winning Iraqi-born architect who contributed to the Olympics? Dame Zaha Hadid. Who is the icon, the household name, who changed the face of TV, and who I am as a person when they won the Great British Bake Off? It's Nadia freaking Hussein. Come on, like, there are better things that we could be asking in these tests. I know it is just like one drop in the ocean, and there's bigger fish to fry when it comes to making immigrants feel welcome in the UK, but let's do away with the life in the UK test, considering how much immigrants bring to life in the UK. All the best, Robbie. P.S. If you need any help with the questions, like I can help out. I'm kind of like really unemployed at the moment. Maybe kind of obvious from how long I've written this big email. It's just going to go to spam. So, thanks.
22 hours in a room without a window. I can't write, I can't read, it's dark. Voices fill the empty air with more emptiness. I stand up and I try to turn off the TV. But a woman in a uniform comes rushing around the corner and she goes, "You can't touch that!" I move back. I climb on another black chair. I'm cold. I look at the clock again. It doesn't seem to be moving. I'm not surprised that clocks don't work in hell. Time is Still, the only evidence of its passing is the changing faces of the officer as they're changing. The woman is gone. There is a man with a long beard staring at a computer screen. Maybe I could try to turn off the TV? Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's even soothing. Maybe I don't want to hear my thoughts. What if they made me throw the little pods of applesauce at the officer? I ate 5 of them to make time go faster, but it only started going backwards. I mean, thank God I didn't touch the Pop-Tarts. I mean, who knows what would have happened. I stand up and walk towards the light, but then there's the man with the long beard who stares up from his computer screen. Sit back down! I stare at him. The little pods of applesauce is only 1 meter away. Take one. And I sit back down. "3:30 a.m. I eat quickly. I look back up. 3 a.m. I knew it. To hell with them. I wish I had a pen. I wish I could document every wrinkle on the officer's face. The pen is a weapon, she said. He must be scared that his wrinkles will grow legs and come sit next to me if I write about them. He must be scared that they tell me why he is in hell watching over me. He must be scared that they might tell me that he likes the applesauce too.
I love the look on people's faces when I tell them I cycle in London. It's like I just told them my favorite hobby is to go streaking in Parliament Square. Why would you possibly cycle in London? What's wrong with you? I don't even know how to begin to explain to them that cycling is in my blood. How my legs miss the motion, my face misses the fresh air, my ass misses the seat. It's like I just don't know where I'm going with this because I forgot my line. How did that happen? Secret people behind a screen.
I don't even know.
I don't even know. That's what I just said, my love.
Oh, why would you cycle in London?
Why would you cycle in London? Why would you cycle in London? Okay. Why would you cycle in London? I still don't know what's after that. Oh my
I
god!
hate to be that person.
Oh, I love to be that person.
You do.
Well, guys, I hate to be the kind of person that starts a whole speech about London's shitty bicycle infrastructure, about how helmets make drivers even less cautious around you, which is why I don't wear one, about how others somehow always lycra-clad cyclists don't indicate or wait for a red light, and about how frustrating it is to be hated by default for the type of commute I choose.
What's wrong with you?
But whenever people ask me what I miss most about the Netherlands, it's the lack of questions, thoughts, and opinions I'm supposed to have about cycling. I can just go from A to B without an agenda.
Why would you cycle in London?
It's like cycling is some fuckboy. You keep coming back to. Even though people have opinions about I bet you don't embarrass me, mother. But whenever I'm with them, they treat me with kindness. Whenever I'm with them, they make me fall in love with being alive again. They make me feel safe in this big, anonymous city.
What's wrong with you?
At night, when I feel like I'm the only person on this planet, that bicycle means freedom to me. No more 5-minute walks home from the tube station in the dark, looking over my shoulder to see if anybody is following me home. A bicycle is a liberation from people's gazes, whistles, words.
Hey baby, give us a smile.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Live around here.
Why are you out all alone?
Your body, my choice.
The other day, I saw that there's a Dutch contestant on the Great British Bake Off. He said that he stopped cycling in London because someone got road rage and punched him in the face. Maybe I should start wearing a helmet, you know? Backwards. See ya.
A letter to the part of me I left across the sea. Oh, I miss you terribly. Are you keeping well? Are you still with the people that we love? And now are you taking care of them? Of course you are. That's all you've ever done. Are they taking care of you? Do they mourn the loss of the whole of you? I mourn the loss of the whole of us too. I'm so disinterested in a life without you, them, us. Who would have thought that leaving London would make my life grayer? But to my disbelief, the clouds roll in. Being forced back to a place
is a particular kind of injury to body and soul I haven't quite come to terms with yet. I sit in an unfamiliar house surrounded by unfamiliar things and can't help but think that this is the foreign country, that I'm the immigrant, where you, them, we are my home. It's like a constant funeral dirges playing in the back of my head, a constant pressure behind my eye that won't die, and a twitching in my leg that won't stop persisting because it's constantly beating to my heart rate, screaming, run, run, run. Trying to explain it to family and to friends, and my therapist, they come back at me with a pout and just give it time. Fuck my therapist. And fuck time. Neither have given me any sense of relief or clarity, and if they can't bring me back to where you are, I have no use for them. Anger has been my constant companion these days, and I seem to be surrounded by it. People on the streets, men on TV, children carrying signs in the street with rhetoric on them they're far too young to understand, screaming into microphones, calling each other names, hitting send on emails, crying out for justice and peace. I can relate. To be fair, my revolution is of the smaller variety. I just want to burn through the red tape that binds my ankles and my wrists to get on a boat, a plane, a rocket ship, a jet ski, anything that'll bring me closer and closer to you, to my home. There's a sort of romanticism, self-righteous American indignation I didn't quite appreciate until I was wrenched away from you. It's made me look at everybody around me with an international eye. In these observations, I have found a light in this gray, definitely not London sky. I find poetry in the small things when I'm blissfully free of the memory of you, of them, of us. It's nothing quantifiable as mobs beating their chests, but it does bring me joy in a way that's so Americana. Here are some of those moments. An older woman on her lawn chair in front of her house. Ice cold lemonade in one hand, cigarette in the other. No wind, hot day. Sweat beads on her brow and on the glass. Breast drooped to either side. Both battling an unforgiving sun. The smell of tobacco and sunscreen. Children playing in a fountain, one boy, two girls. Families grilling on the grass nearby. The smell of adobo, sausages, and greens thick in the air with spice. The children are so unaware of the world outside of their little sanctuary. The radio is tuned to the local country station. Grease, butter, laughter. Two teens walking hand in hand down a country road at night. End of summer love. Coming to its inevitable end, but they don't need to know it yet. She's wearing his oversized hoodie on her undersized frame. They walk through the freeway with no fear. They can see for miles, and they are infinite. Here and now. Perfect. Here and now. I guess all of this is to say that life goes on there, despite it all. Despite this throbbing, aching, so fucking awful wound in my chest. Life goes on here too. As it does with you. With them. With us. Kiss them hard for me, yeah? Love them. And keep them warm while the seasons change. I will be back for you someday.
Just two people. All right. Come on, everyone. Hello. First of all, for being here. I'm the co-producer. I'm Arno van Zelst. I'm co-producing together with Grania, who is sitting at the tech booth right there. And yeah, with Salt Circle Productions, with Grania, I'm co-producing. This is really wonderful. I'm so happy for you that you were all able to make it on this Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday. Tuesday. What?
It was in the morning, it was Tuesday.
That's such a confusing way to ask. Yes, wonderful. Anyway, thank you. Of course, it's independent theater, so thank you so much for supporting us. And there's also a program of all the creatives. You might have seen the QR code over here. There's also a QR code on the door and upstairs, so you can see all these lovely faces as well as the writers and the directors. Some of them are also writers, by the way. And I'm going to read all of their names now because there's a lot of them, but they should be named. So first off, we got Carmine Tiberini and director Jason Moore. Maya Kochnik and Berta Riletti. Writer Niall McCarthy, who I don't believe is here, but we do have John Joe who performed it, and Aaron Elston. Next we have Lena Lidl and Xiao Zhao. Lavender, Elliot Aitken, sorry. And then we got Robbie Taylor Hunt. You can keep clapping. Laura Unknown, Misha Baker. Marissa Martin, Santiago, please check the QR code as well. I just want to say as well, I'm really happy that I was able to co-produce this. This is part, of course, to showcase international voices, because that's not always easy to do, and as an international being on stage. I was really happy to co-produce this. I'm, of course, also foreign. I'm from the Netherlands originally, and there you go.
I brought a Dutch delegation, by the way.
The embassy.
So I was really happy that I was able to co-produce this together with Grania. And I'm also really, really excited that we got another one coming up in January. Yes, this is also news to you. To everyone, if you like what you've seen, please see if you join in, submit your writing, submit yourself as a performer, as a director. Join in. It's going to be at the Glitch, which is Lower Marsh, right next to Waterloo Station, which is very, very exciting. Very exciting. So please join in if you're interested in this.
What Instagram should they look up?
Instagram, check Salt Circle Production.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. So in December there will be call-outs. We'll reveal the theme of that night. We'll also obviously call-outs for writers, directors, and performers. So that's all going to be on December. So check out the Instagram if you're interested in that. And I think that is all I needed to say. Oh, one more thing. Libra Theater has been so amazing. So please go upstairs and also mingle and network and maybe
Themed cocktail.
buy a themed cocktail. The cocktail is called What's Your Name?
Ooh.
And it sounds really camp.
And we love that at Salt Circle.
So, please enjoy, talk to people, and buy your local independent theater, buy some nice drinks so that they can also, get a little bit of
money out of it because we don't like these spaces, right? Thank you so much for having me.